Hello and welcome to part 1 of Correcting Nonsensical Zionist Infographic. Today, this one, which I agree we should critique Israel without being that. But let's see if what they're saying actually stops that. They open with this nonsense. There's nothing more Zionist than critiquing and its policies. How? How is it Zionist to critique the state that you're trying to develop and protect? How? If this is like there's nothing more patriotic than critiquing your nation vibe, that's fine. But this, it doesn't naturally go together. Okay, this is fine. Cool. Okay, now we have this. I agree with this, okay. And then I would agree that denying that anything happened on October 7th would. But let's go specifically as to what they claim. That, and that. And even more interestingly, this is not terribly controversial. This is, though, because this number has decreased, even by Israeli counts, by over 600. So was Israel anti-Semitic when they reduced the number from 1,400 to 1,200? Were they anti-Semitic when they said that, actually, no, up to 300 of those were combatants? No, of course they weren't. So when the UN also talks about the evidence for this and this and this and this, and says there's some evidence for certain instances and there's some evidence for non-certain instances, they are doing the exact same thing the IDF is, which is looking at the evidence and showing what it is. And to do this, and say deny that any of these claims are not true, is just silencing. But this gets worse, so let's keep going. Okay, this, cool, right? This, calling Israel that, or that. The difficulty I have with this is this word, colonialist. Because lots of Zionists literally referred to themselves as colonialists. This is a association that was founded in 1891 to emigrate Jews to Ottoman Palestine, and is still active in doing that today. They refer to themselves as colonial. Are they being anti-Semitic? Like, they were around during the foundation of Israel. This is an organization that helped found Israel. Were they being anti-Semitic when they said, yeah, we're colonial and we want to support Israel? No, they weren't. Okay, moving on. This is categorically untrue. Okay, residents of the occupied West Bank, residents of the East Jerusalem do not have equal rights and do not have equal privileges, and even Palestinian civilians of Israel do not have equal privileges. Okay, we've got a lot to get through. Disagreeing with statements made by Israelis or Israeli supporters. Okay, cool. Saying you don't hate Jews, you just hate Zionists. And then they basically say, well, a majority of Jews identify as Zionists, so hating Zionists is hating Jews. That's nonsense. Just hear me out now. Most white people are racist. Most men are sexist. Most straight people are homophobic. All at least in some way or degree or form or fashion. And the fact that I don't like racism, sexism, or homophobia doesn't mean that I hate all of the people that are that, or all of the groups where there's a huge portion of them that are that. Second of all, this entirely erases the huge amount of Jews that are fundamentally anti-Zionist. How do you explain the rabbis? How do you explain the Jew lay people? Right? How do you explain the one Jewish representative in Britain that was in Parliament during the time of the foundation of Israel and contested it? Were they anti-Semitic? No. Now moving on. This, the right of the Jewish people to self-determination and self-governance, that is just not what it means. That it can be what it means religiously, but when Israel and supporters of Israel talking about it, they use, once again, handy-dandy definition, this. It is political support for the state of Israel, which was led by Theodor Herzl, who was a racist, and Chaim Weizmann. So no, this is wrong. Cool. Claiming all Jews are white colonizers from Europe. Yeah, this is just untrue. And I don't think a single sane person says this, but cool. The difficulty with this is that I agree. You don't have to discard facts. The difficulty is, first of all, we can't even say we're anti-Zionist. The whole point of saying anti-Zionist is to make very clear we're not anti-Jew. But you've now said that that's anti-Semitic. But just looking back through these, everyone, this is absurd to suggest, and it's fundamentally anti-Semitic. When you need to go so far as to claim that it's anti-Semitic to call them colonialist, when they themselves call them colonialist, or to say that questioning anything the IDF says about, October 7th, when they've been caught lying and have had to correct themselves. That's also anti-Semitic. That is nonsense. That is misinformation. And what that does is not only does it diminish when genuine anti-Semitism is in this discussion, which it happens many, many times, but it also diminishes all claims of anti-Semitism when it is weaponized by a foreign power to gain and control the narrative. That is despicable, and please, when you see these narratives, if you're anti-Zionist, Zionist, correct them and ask for them to be taken down because they are lies.